first of which, represented by David Long, please welcome to the stage the National LGBT Federation. Thank you.
Happy Pride, everyone. As I was introduced, my name... Oh dear. I'm Adam Long and I'm with the National LGBT Federation. And I just want to say it is wonderful to see such a turnout here for Pride. And as was said, it is a celebration, it is a party, but I think Pride as well is inherently political. The personal is political, and we must never ever forget that. There is such huge momentum, I think, in the country at the moment around socially reforming issues, around the progressive agenda. I think we really need to capitalise on that. We've seen in the last 2 referendums that the Irish people are more than ready for change, for reform, for equality, and we need to drive that forward. You know, there's so much more to achieve. We saw that the LGBT National Youth Strategy was launched yesterday, and that's the first such strategy in the world, and that was really, really wonderful. And I think what that also highlights is the importance of education equality. We need an LGBT inclusive curriculum. All our schools need to be welcoming and open spaces for LGBT people, and that applies across the board. And I and the National LGBT Federation, we chaired the Dublin Pride debate last Thursday. There was a huge turnout again, and it showed the interest in these issues. And the key issue to emerge from that is education equality. That is seen as the next great social reform. And we need to keep the pressure on our politicians, we need to keep the pressure on society, and we need to lobby, and we need to get that over the line. There are other issues. Hate crime legislation. That was identified as the #1 issue in the Burning Issues 2 survey, a comprehensive survey into the views and priorities of our community post-marriage equality. We need to get that. We need comprehensive hate crime legislation. And I'm sure you saw that really appalling attack on that young couple in the Midlands. And that was just, you know, that shows that homophobia, transphobia, anti-LGBT prejudice is still a reality in Ireland, and we cannot forget that. We cannot become complacent. So hate crime legislation, we need that now. It needs to be delivered. The National LGBT Federation has been working with our political allies, such as Senator Fintan Warfield, on a bill to ban so-called gay conversion therapy. This is an abusive, it's a deeply, deeply anti-LGBT practice, and we need a law now in place for it to be prohibited, to make clear that there's nothing wrong with being LGBT. That what is wrong is homophobia, transphobia, and we also need that bill to be implemented. The rights of our transgender community. We have a review of the current Gender Recognition Act, and our understanding is that that review is going to be published imminently. We need support for our young trans people, non-binary citizens, the intersex community. Ireland can be a world leader on these issues. The public are there, our politicians have said they're supportive, so let's get this reform agenda going across the board. But I would say as well, as we reflect on the great gains that Ireland has made, let's not forget the international situation. In many ways, there's a regression in many parts of the world. We see that from Trump's America, Donald Trump, he's enablising and he's legitimising hate against our community and against other minority communities. Ireland needs to say no, we won't accept that, and we will stand up for LGBT rights, not just at home, but also on the international stage. Those LGBT people into recognition centres, We saw the story recently in GCN where the persecution that they're fleeing, they're now encountering that in direct provision centres here in Ireland. That's not acceptable. We can't. LGBT asylum seekers are doubly disadvantaged, and many of them are being forced back into the closet as a result of encountering such prejudice. We can't accept that in Ireland. We won't tolerate that. We have to stand up for LGBT asylum seekers as well. So whether it's in domestically, whether it's internationally, the message needs to be communicated loud and clear. We are here. We are going to continue making progress. There's no room for complacency. So as we celebrate, let's also remember the hugely important political dimension. And I'm just going to conclude by saying, in the words of Harvey Milk, the most important and the most political act that any LGBT person can undertake is simply to come out. Visibility is power. Be proud of yourself. Never accept discrimination, and we will get there. We will achieve full equality. Thank you, everyone.